Dogs are constantly communicating with us, even when they are completely silent. While humans rely heavily on words to express thoughts and emotions, dogs use an entirely different language built around body movements, facial expressions, and physical signals. One of the most fascinating things about canine communication is that dogs rarely hide how they feel. Their emotions are often displayed openly through their behavior, making body language one of the most reliable ways to understand what is happening in a dog's mind. For responsible owners, learning this language is one of the most valuable skills they can develop. A dog that feels happy, nervous, excited, confident, fearful, or stressed will often reveal these emotions long before it makes a sound. The key is knowing where to look. Dogs communicate through several major channels, each providing important clues about their emotional state. The tail can reveal confidence, excitement, uncertainty, or fear. The eyes often reflect attention, playfulness, curiosity, or discomfort. The ears can signal relaxation, caution, or anxiety, depending on their position. Facial expressions such as yawning, licking, or showing teeth can communicate stress, attachment, or territorial behavior. Finally, overall body posture provides a broader picture of how a dog feels about its surroundings and the people around it. When these signals are observed together, they create a remarkably clear form of communication. Understanding this language allows owners to respond appropriately to their dog's needs, strengthen trust, and build a deeper relationship. The better we become at reading these subtle messages, the easier it becomes to understand our canine companions and create a bond based on mutual trust, respect, and communication. Among all the parts of a dog's body, the tail and eyes are often the most expressive and can provide valuable insight into what a dog is thinking and feeling. Many owners automatically associate a wagging tail with happiness, but the reality is far more complex. The position, speed, and movement of the tail can communicate a wide range of emotions. For example, when a dog's tail is held low but continues to wag, it often indicates friendliness, excitement, and acceptance of the owner's leadership. The dog feels comfortable and positive but remains respectful and attentive. If the tail remains low and wags slowly, the message changes slightly. In this situation, the dog may be looking for guidance and trying to understand what is expected. It is essentially waiting for direction while assessing the current environment. A raised tail can communicate confidence, but when that raised tail begins to tremble or vibrate, it may signal something different. This behavior can indicate that the dog is testing boundaries, challenging authority, or feeling particularly confident about its position within the situation. At the opposite end of the spectrum is the tucked tail, one of the easiest signals to recognize. When a dog pulls its tail tightly between its legs, it is usually expressing fear, anxiety, discomfort, or insecurity. This posture reflects a desire to appear smaller and less threatening while protecting a vulnerable area of the body. The eyes are equally important when it comes to understanding canine communication. Because dogs rely heavily on visual signals, their eyes often reveal emotions that may not be obvious elsewhere. Wide, alert eyes usually indicate that the dog is paying close attention and trying to engage with something in its environment. It may be seeking attention, expressing curiosity, or even challenging a person or situation to see how they will respond. In contrast, squinting, blinking, or occasionally winking often reflects a playful and relaxed emotional state. These softer eye expressions are commonly seen when dogs feel comfortable and at ease. However, context is important. While occasional blinking is perfectly normal, excessive or constant blinking may point to an eye problem or physical discomfort that requires veterinary attention. When viewed together, tail movements and eye expressions create a powerful communication system. A wagging tail combined with relaxed eyes tells a very different story from a tucked tail paired with wide, tense eyes. By learning to read these signals as a complete picture rather than focusing on a single gesture, owners can better understand their dog's emotional state and respond with greater confidence, empathy, and awareness. While some canine signals are easy to recognize, others are much more subtle and often reveal feelings of fear, stress, or emotional discomfort before they become obvious. Among the most important indicators are the ears and facial expressions, both of which can provide valuable insight into a dog's emotional state. Ear movements are particularly useful because dogs instinctively adjust them in response to how safe or threatened they feel. When a dog's ears are pulled back tightly against its head, it is usually a sign of fear, insecurity, or anxiety. The dog may feel uncomfortable with a person, animal, or situation and is attempting to appear less threatening while protecting itself. This reaction is especially common during stressful experiences such as visits to unfamiliar places or encounters with strangers. Some dogs display an even more subtle version of this behavior by lowering only one ear, often the left one. This can indicate uncertainty or discomfort in response to unfamiliar people, environments, or unexpected situations. Although easy to overlook, this small adjustment can reveal that a dog is feeling uneasy long before stronger signs of stress appear. Facial expressions provide another important layer of communication. One behavior that is frequently misunderstood is yawning. Most people naturally assume a yawning dog is simply tired, and in many cases that is true. However, yawning can also serve as a calming signal used during moments of nervousness or emotional tension. Dogs placed in unfamiliar environments or introduced to unfamiliar animals may yawn as a way of coping with stress. This behavior is particularly common in puppies, which often experience uncertainty when meeting unfamiliar dogs. Interestingly, yawning can also be linked to social bonding. Many owners notice that their dogs yawn shortly after they do, and this behavior is often interpreted as a sign of attachment and emotional connection. Another important facial signal is face licking. While a dog may sometimes lick its face to remove food residue, repeated licking without an obvious reason can indicate stress, pressure, or emotional discomfort. These signals may appear minor on their own, but together they create a valuable early warning system. By learning to recognize subtle signs such as pinned ears, nervous yawning, or stress-related face licking, owners can identify hidden anxiety before it escalates into more serious fear or behavioral problems. Understanding these emotional clues allows us to respond with patience and reassurance, helping dogs feel safer, more confident, and better understood in challenging situations. Among the many ways dogs communicate, body posture often provides some of the clearest clues about trust, attachment, and social relationships. Unlike vocalizations, which can sometimes be brief or situational, posture reflects how a dog truly feels about the people and environment around it. One of the strongest signs of trust is when a dog exposes its belly. Whether the dog simply lies on its back or rolls over completely, it is revealing one of the most vulnerable parts of its body. In the animal world, exposing the stomach is not a casual action. It requires confidence and a belief that no threat is present. When a dog offers its belly to an owner, it is often communicating that it feels safe, secure, and comfortable. If the owner responds with gentle affection, the interaction can further strengthen the bond by reinforcing positive feelings of trust and protection. Another common posture that reflects emotional attachment occurs when a dog rests its head on a person's knee, leg, or lap. While this behavior may appear simple, it often carries significant emotional meaning. In many cases, the dog is seeking comfort, reassurance, attention, or a sense of connection. Physical contact provides security, and placing its head against a trusted person allows the dog to feel close to someone it depends on. This behavior frequently appears during quiet moments when the dog wants companionship rather than play or activity. Dogs may also use their paws as part of their communication system. When a dog deliberately places a paw on a person's leg or knee, it can be interpreted as an attempt to gain control of the interaction or direct attention toward itself. Depending on the context and the dog's personality, it may represent confidence, persistence, or a desire to influence what happens next. Understanding the surrounding circumstances helps determine the true meaning behind the gesture. Perhaps one of the most overlooked signs of trust is when a dog turns its back to its owner and sits nearby. At first glance, this may seem distant or indifferent, but it often communicates the opposite. By turning away, the dog is exposing itself and demonstrating confidence that no danger exists behind it. This posture reflects comfort, security, and a deep level of trust. Together, these body language signals reveal that physical contact and posture are far more than simple behaviors. They are powerful forms of emotional communication that allow dogs to express trust, attachment, affection, and confidence. By paying attention to these subtle signals, owners can better understand the emotional needs of their dogs and build stronger, more meaningful relationships based on mutual trust and companionship. Understanding a dog's body language is not about memorizing a single gesture or assigning one fixed meaning to every behavior. Instead, it involves learning how different signals work together to create a complete picture of what a dog is feeling. One example is full body shaking. Most owners immediately recognize this behavior after a bath, when a dog shakes off excess water. However, dogs may also shake their entire bodies after a stressful encounter, an exciting interaction, or a tense moment. In these situations, the shake serves as a way of releasing built-up tension and returning to a more balanced emotional state. While occasional shaking is perfectly normal, Repeated shaking without an obvious cause may indicate ongoing stress or discomfort and deserves closer attention. This highlights an important principle of canine communication. Context matters. A single signal rarely tells the whole story. A tucked tail combined with pinned ears and nervous yawning communicates something very different from a tucked tail during a brief moment of uncertainty. Likewise, a wagging tail can indicate excitement, confidence, or even tension depending on what the eyes, ears, face, and posture are doing at the same time. Dogs naturally communicate through multiple channels simultaneously because emotions are complex and cannot always be expressed through a single movement. The tail, eyes, ears, facial expressions, and body posture all work together as parts of one larger communication system. The more we observe these signals as a group, the more accurately we can understand what our dogs are trying to tell us. Ultimately, dogs are remarkably honest communicators. They do not rely on words, yet they constantly share information about their emotions, comfort level, confidence, and needs through their behavior. By learning to recognize and interpret this language, owners gain a deeper understanding of their canine companions. This understanding strengthens trust, improves communication, and creates a more meaningful relationship built on patience, empathy, and mutual respect. In the end, the better we listen to what dogs are saying through their body language, the closer we become to them.